nobody can see us. This is great. This is how we start every show, apparently, nowadays. Nobody can see anything.
Maybe that's the computer telling us we're better not being seen than seen.
Exactly. Great job. Welcome, everyone, to an impromptu live stream. Thank you for joining us today. Here we are. We're trying this merge screen situation here. I don't think we've tried this one before. But it's kind of weird because we're like just don't.
I like to experiment
That's
with technology. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Somebody just did a
Play games. Thank you so much
Super
for
chat.
super chat. $10. Thank you. And so we're going to be answering questions today. It's just an impromptu Q&A. We actually have a live stream coming up in about 2.5 hours, a little bit less than 2.5 hours. We're going to be doing a live stream for Orca Torch, which now Woody and I are brand ambassadors for. So Congrats to Woody for becoming a brand ambassador of Orca Torch.
Oh, great lights. I'm proud, really, to do it.
I'm excited that you join. And we'll be doing a live stream for them. If you want to win some lights, I think we're giving away 4 lights, I believe. 3 or 4, something like that. 3, I think. Please go ahead and check that out. I think the live stream is going to be on Facebook, so you have to be on Facebook. Be asking some questions, and then you can win some lights. But other than that, thank you to everyone tuning in. We have 83 viewers so far, and everyone contributing with super chats. But bring on the questions. People are talking about Chernobyl number 2. Woody, and you're busy.
Sorry. Give me 1 second. You can pick it up. I just want to do one quick thing, and then I'll focus.
Chernobyl number 2. Related. Mauricio saying, hola desde Mexico. Hola, Mauricio. Let's see. What else? Hey, from Ireland. Mel. So good to hear from you. Still, by the way, Mel, open invite to her house. She's always like, you guys should come and dive here. Awesome. Which I'm not, because I'm going to be at the pub. I mean, let's face it. But thank you. Hello from Malta. That would be awesome to go to Malta and dive. I heard they have amazing diving over there, so that would be great. When are we diving in Chernobyl?
Never. That we both agree on.
Chernobyl. So thank you very much.
I keep seeing comments even on the recent one about so many people seem to say, "Wow, Thomas, hope I can win a light to use on the dive trip with you guys. Also looking for the April trip. Thank you so much. I can't even tell you how much that helps us." Well, what I was going to say is, like, why are there so many questions? I'm asking the audience this, not you, Gus, about Chernobyl and whether or not they are in a radioactive environment in any portion of what they do. It seems like anywhere in that whole area, like within 20 miles of that place, would potentially be a risk. So,
yeah, that would be good.
When is the North Georgia gold planting trip, Woody? We did one. We have a video on it, but perhaps we need to find a different area. We did pretty well in the last one. I didn't sell any of mine. Nobody bought any.
We
for some
spent
reason.
so much money and got 0.
I have
back.
I have a little bit. I have some gold dust.
Nobody. Nothing. Yeah. Somebody says, what's going on with a fading split screen? Well, I thank you for asking. First of all, we did it because I think it's cool. I can do stuff like this. Are you ready, Woody? See? So just for that. That's the only reason, really, why we're doing that. Let's see. What happens to the first Chernobyl guy? He's going to be back. He's getting after it. He just wasn't on this episode, and I'm glad, because if they put Suze on scuba, that would.
No, there were some answers to my questions. Cameron said people ask because they're not dead. Well, I mean, that's not a really bad point you're making there. I'm glad that they're healthy and not dead, but I'm also wondering if there's going to be severe long-term effects, just like you all are.
Yeah.
We think they're crazy. I must have said that 10 times in the video.
They are definitely brave. Question: when saturation divers are breathing 80% helium, 20% oxygen, do they have squeaky voice? Yes. Mm-hmm. You can hear my squeaky voice, and I do 30% helium, and you can still hear it on the video. Let's see. Somebody was asking about Nutty Putty Cave. I mean, we've talked about that before in the past, and it's really bad. It's really sad that that guy died at the Nutty Putty Cave. If he was cave diving, he wouldn't have died. He would still be alive, which is why I don't go in dry caves. Woody and Gus, have you ever heard the rumors about divers in magnetic North Pole seeing lights on the water? No, I haven't heard rumors, but now Woody is going to claim it's a fact and tell all his friends. So thank you. Because I'm traveling with Woody tomorrow, so now he's going to research all night and tell me all about it tomorrow.
Let's stop and concentrate on that one more.
No, let's not.
When are you guys coming to Australia? I've been there. It is very cool diving. And you're not far from Indonesia as well, which I think is really amazing diving as well. But I have been there diving. It's not just the diving, man. Australia is just so cool in general.
I'm in Fort Lauderdale. Where do I go for a good training or maybe something online? Well, you probably don't want to do online training in scuba unless you're doing something that doesn't require you to go diving with it. But do you have any recommendations in Fort Lauderdale?
For training?
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy. I would contact Jimmy Godowski,
yeah.
And
but he's at 4C, right?
He's at 3 or 4C, and I think that he can connect you with amazing instructors.
Force E.
And Andres Drew. Interesting. Most beautiful dive, most difficult dive, and why that you personally went on?
This is a good question from Kevin. I just bought a D630 as a present. Can you show me how you've rigged yours up? As it's first time I have a canister light. If you go to YouTube and search for Orca Torch, their official channel, I actually recorded a video where I show exactly how I rig my light, but it's hosted on the Orca Torch YouTube channel, not in our channel. So I did that for Orca Torch when I became an ambassador. So go check that out. And you should all subscribe to the Orca Torch channel on YouTube. So support them because they support the channel. They give away free lights almost, I think every single time we've done a giveaway, we've given away free lights from Orca Torch.
Let me get back to Andres' question about the most beautiful dive, can you scroll up a little? My keyboard
You have it scrolling, right?
Yeah, it was locked up there a second.
Alex or who?
Andres Drew. Most beautiful dive, most difficult dive, and why? The most beautiful diving place for me, I still have to keep going back to Southeast Asia in general, but it was in the North Banda Sea in Indonesia. I still think that. And I would also have to say that from cave diving standpoint, it would be the Crystal Caves in Abacos. The most difficult dive I've ever done, well, stay tuned. We'll be broadcasting that one soon, as a matter of fact. And I will tell you, yeah, that now has to go as the most difficult dive I've ever done.
Number one, by
so
far.
You'll see that. Yeah, I mean, I have to now put that as number one. So there's a video on it, and it's
wonder when we should release it. You think next week? Should we release it next week?
Yeah. This is the most difficult dive that I think many people would say for them once you see this one.
All right. Let's see. Let's see if there's any questions. By the way, some people are saying they're excited to see the dive that you're talking about. That video for the dive that Woody's talking about is the first time we're releasing two versions of the same video. One version will be public for everyone, and then there's an extended version that has a little bit more footage. I would say, I think it's about 15 to 20 minutes of more footage, which is going to be available to members. So if you have not become a member, please begging you to become a member of the channel, because we will be doing that more often. Every time we record video, if we have any extra content that we don't think you would, it would extend the video a lot longer for people that are watching on the regular channel. We're going to release it to members, and every single video that we release just to members will be ad-free. So we're making all of our videos advertisement-free for members, so you can watch uninterrupted, which is another benefit of it. Can you cave dive in a dry suit?
Oh, I only cave dive in a dry suit. I don't ever cave dive in a wetsuit because I'm always cold. So yes, a lot of people cave dive in a.
Yeah. By the way, this question, this comment has been posted, I don't know how many dozens of times today, which is, did you guys see the video where the Russians went and got tested for radiation and they have none of it? Yes, we actually shared that video here on Dive Talk. If you look at our community tab, you will find it there. So yeah, we've seen it. We talked about it. We share it. So yes, please don't keep commenting the same thing. We've seen it. Let's see.
Somebody has to. We like Scuba Pro as a brand. I mean, every brand has their really, really good gear. So you gotta always assess it. Yes, first of all, yes, they're excellent, and many other brands are excellent as well. Today's dive gear is top notch. So look at your budget. Ask yourself, what am I buying this gear for, and is that gear the gear that my dive shop supports, that my dive instructor dives in, and that would be the way I would pick dive gear.
Somebody says, are you allowed to cave dive on a mine diver certification? Well, I mean, there's no cave diving police, so you can do everything once. But you should definitely not cave dive on a mine diver certification.
I don't know. I don't have a mine diving cert, nor am I a mine diving instructor. So I don't know if that is anywhere close to cave diving. I'm just letting you know what I don't. Let me just finish for myself.
Sure.
I don't know what it is. What I can tell you, though, is I've always heard that unless you have a cave diving cert by a cave diving instructor, don't enter a cave. I've never heard, well, unless it's a mine diving cert.
I was just going to say that there are some mines here in the U.S. where they're a joke. Like, they would take people with 5 dives, and they'll give them a mine diving cert.
No. No.
So not. The answer is no.
Thanks,
are you guys excited for the next episode of Chernobyl? Yes, I am definitely excited. Especially I'm excited to record it because I've actually seen all of them, but Woody has not. So every time you see the reaction, Woody is the first time he's seen it. It will be my second time typically. And I still crack up laughing. Like, people are like, oh my God, Gus was laughing so much. And I already had seen the video at that point. So the first time I watched it, it was like, I had to pause it to laugh. It was ridiculous.
Whew, that last one, wow.
Wow. Yes. Smash the like button. That's awesome. Thank you.
Again, so Andrew, you're asking about the mine diving cert. Would I call that a cavern? Cavern has a separate certification. I would stick to the actual certs of cavern, and that will give you the skills necessary to then go into cave diving. And I don't know if mine diving does that, but a cavern cert should give you the preliminary skills you'll need to master before going into full cave. So I'm going to keep telling you no. Yeah. I don't think mine diving.
I think the best answer is Haunted Owen above. He says, I have a mine diving certification. It's not cave diving. Do not cave dive with a mine diving certification.
There you go. Thank you. We appreciate that.
So that was great. How does someone become narked? Do you just have to ingest nitrogen at high pressures? So go deep over 100 feet and breathe.
And you may not know you're narked. I answered this a lot. When you are narked, a lot of people later say, I wasn't narked. Mm-hmm. It's not like you're going to be, oh my gosh, I'm out of my mind. It's slows down the brain's ability, particularly to multitask if you have compounding problems. So you kind of just slow down. Be careful because it's not always noticeable, and you are still narked.
One of my favorite subscribers out of all 90,481 subscribers we have, Tori, is asking, would you guys ever dive with orcas or killer whales? Yes, tomorrow. Now, immediately, if I could. Absolutely. Let's see. I saw some question earlier about what's the weirdest thing I've seen or the strangest experience diving. To me, I think still the weirdest experience is coming out of Orange Grove after completing the Grand Traverse at Peacock Springs, which is a super, super long dive. And when I arrived at Orange Grove, there were a bunch of mermaids swimming around. I talked about this before, which is the craziest thing I've ever seen.
This is a very good question, TC. Hey, Woody, how does cave diving in a silt out compare to flying IFR conditions? So that's a great question. I am a pilot. when you are cave diving and you're in a silt out, what you have to hope for is that you have the line. You have a continuous guideline and you have to not let go of it, and you just are feeling your way out of the cave. When you're flying in IFR conditions, for those of you that don't know, that means that you are flying in conditions where you can't see, and you're totally relying upon the instruments only. You have a lot more instruments when you are flying an airplane to guide you than you do when you're cave diving in a silt out. In other words, you have multiple instruments, but you are still relying upon something other than your own senses to get you out. In other words, where I think I should go doesn't work in both of those situations. Get rid of your senses and trust the instrument. In cave diving, the instrument is the line. In airplanes, it's multiple instruments. So they're similar in that regard.
Somebody said that getting narked is a cheap way to get drunk. No, not really.
So. I don't feel that way with it.
Getting narked is a different effect for everyone. You don't necessarily feel drunk. It affects people in different ways. Plus, if it affects you in a way that doesn't let you perform, if you have a problem, you can die. Whereas if you are getting drunk at home having some beer, I mean, the chances of you dying are way smaller. So, no, I still rather have a few beers.
Ed Sorensen's, I think his cave regulators are the ones that I have now. Does he use all of Deep Six stuff? I know he's a vendor for Chris, the owner of Deep Six. I was recently given Deep Six fins and regulators, and I love them. They are very high quality, and they are really suitable for rebreather tech diving, especially cave diving. I think Ed may use that as well.
Yep. Let's see. Do you know of any caves in Sweden? No, I don't. But if you find one, let me know, because that would be cool. Let's see. Will you recommend the KISS Sidewinder for a first rebreather? It all depends on what you're doing. Like, there's a lot of people who are cave divers. They're side mount, open circuit cave divers, and they are getting into their first rebreather. If all they're going to do is to use it for cave diving and they're going to dive on a rebreather, then yes, Sidewinder is a really good first rebreather. But if all you're going to do is dive in the ocean and out of boats and stuff, I think the Spirit would be a better choice.
Stacy just answered, by the way, and confirmed that he does have Deep Six regs. And I will tell you, Cave Adventurers, which Ed and Stacy are the owners of, are dealers in it. And that matters to me because that's who would service them if I have a problem, right? So you want to go with somebody that also can service that stuff as well, and I would always bring any of my stuff back to Cave Adventure. So there you go. It is confirmed we were right. It's Deep Six regs.
Thank you, Stacy, for watching as well. I hope you're feeling better. Last time we talked to Stacy, she was a little under the weather. So
thank you, Neff, for the super chat, and
absolutely.
Wow, thanks for the early congrats on 100,000. I hope so. We're excited. We're marching towards that now. We've just crossed 90,000. So, man, that's going to be a very big day.
Absolutely. Have you guys thought about diving in Scotland or the UK in general? Sure. I mean, it's not a priority. There's a lot of other places that we really, really want to get to. So, but yeah, I would love to do that someday.
We did hear about the shark attack in Sydney. I have posted on my personal Facebook page and the Dive Talk Facebook page a very intelligent, well-written response by Christina Zanato. I would suggest either going to my Facebook page or Dive Talk's Facebook page and reading that. She would be the one to read about anything as it relates to sharks. I learned a lot when I read what she wrote.
Absolutely. All right. Let's see. What else do we have?
Thank you, June, for saying that you think we're going to get beyond 100,000. We're just going to continue to be ourselves. We've been talking a lot about that lately. I'm going to continue to be Woody. I'm going to continue to believe in aliens and that octopus are aliens. And I'm going to continue to make mistakes. And I'm going to continue to be right. And I'm going to continue to be me. And honest. And expose ourselves for good and bad. And hopefully that resonates, and I can't speak for Gus. I guess he'll do the same. We're just divers that love diving, just like you guys.
Kurt, thank you so much for your message. He said, "Hey guys, just wanted to let you know that your videos have helped me a lot through some tough times. So I wanted to say thank you and keep up the good work." Thank you for watching.
Wow, Alex. Thank you. You said hard choice to do a CCR with the doctor, Woody or Ed, living in Central Florida. I have great options. You really do. I'll take myself out. Let me do that. Make it easy, okay? Because you have Dr. Doug Ebersol or Ed Sorensen. Therefore, you should remove me from those three choices because I would be the worst of them. I don't think you can go wrong with either of them. And, Ed specializes, though, in side mount diving in general and the Sidewinder. I have taken many Sidewinder classes with Ed, and I will continue to always go back to Cave Adventures for any type of Sidewinder, if you will, training or tweaking or adjustments. So,
absolutely.
If it's the Sidewinder, boy, I sure learned a lot from him there.
Yep. Nicholas, thank you so much for the big super chat. He's asking,
wow, thank you.
What diameter, how thick is the main line on caves? Do you remember? I feel like
can't give you that. I don't know the diameter. I mean,
Stacey
it's
knows.
A pretty thick line. That it's. I can't give you the diameter, but it's not like a thin line that's on your reel, for example. It's 5 times thicker than the line on your reel.
Yeah. Stacey, can you answer that question?
Or Ed or somebody.
Yeah,
I don't
or
know
ask Ed.
I don't know the exact one. Thank you, Alex, for saying that I'm cool. Believe me, Doug and Ed are extremely cool. I don't think you could go wrong with either of those guys. If you were going to take a KISS Spirit class, out of fairness to me, I do a pretty good job with that in the open water. I am not a cavern or cave instructor. And I don't want to be, because unless I live in that environment, I wouldn't teach it. Thank you, Nicholas, for becoming an Argonaut.
Scariest situation you have ever come across in a cave?
For me, it's going to, while you're thinking, watch the video that's going to come out soon about a cave dive that I did. I wouldn't call it scary, but if I had to define scariest, well,
there you go.
It's the most challenging.
Stacey answered.
Number 24 braided line. Thank you, Stacey.
Nyland, yeah.
I'm glad you're here, Stacey. We need your help right now. Don't jump off. We may have more questions for you.
Official consultant of Dive Talk. Yeah, I don't know if there's anything really scary that I've had in caves. If I had to guess, the scariest ever was the first time I experienced a silt out for real, because it was the first time. But I wasn't scared. It was sort of like, okay, well, this is odd. And, I was born with this crazy ability of my brain to basically put aside whatever I cannot control in real life. Like before I was a diver, my brain is like, all right, we don't have to worry about that because you can control that and move forward. And that's really, really useful in cave diving. So,
hey,
that was it.
Tagger Andy, you reminded me of my scariest moment. You're right. My scariest moment is when I was about 100 meters underwater. I forgot about this. And I had that one little pellet of water, which is a known thing. It will restrict. It contracts your airways. And I was like, for about 10 seconds, and it slowly opened back up. Thank you. I forgot about that. Yeah.
I don't want to miss Sean's question. Sean Ellis, thank you for being a member, and he's going to be at the meetup too. But cool. Sean is asking, and I wonder what's your answer, Woody. How many dives do you recommend before getting your advanced open water certification?
Wow, that's a great question. Under SSI, I'll give you the standard first. You got to have 24 dives and at least 4 specialties completed, and then you earn what's called the recognition of an advanced open water diver. And under SSI, at least, it certifies you to 100 feet unless one of your certs was the deep specialty, which then you could go to 130 feet. I think for most people, that's a pretty good number. I would say somewhere between that number and 50 dives, you're going to start being ready for that level. I think SSI got that right. So I'm going to speak on SSI's behalf since that's primarily who I teach under that agency. Thank you again, Stacy. Don't go anywhere. I like that smiley face. You're awesome.
Yeah. Salvador, thank you so much for the super chat. He's asking any update on the plans you guys have with Ed. Love your guys' content. Keep it up. I mean, we're always thinking about stuff to do with Ed. We love, obviously, featuring Ed on the show. We learn every time, we can talk about anything. I'm learning from him. So, we're always thinking of things. Right now, I don't think we have, like, an actual plan, like, next week we're going to record with Ed or whatever. But we're always thinking of things to do.
Yeah, I do think that Ed has told us that he wants to do a live stream follow-up to, if you watched the episode, great. If you haven't, it's the one where it says Woody shuts off Ed Sorensen's O2. Watch it, and Ed wants to do a question and answer live stream on that, which we will announce ahead of time. And I do think that would be very beneficial. That would probably be the next thing we're going to do with him.
Right now, we're getting a lot of greetings from Europe. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. Somebody's asking Thomas, who actually he brought up a good point. Not a whole lot of likes in this live stream. So please get to liking this live stream. So thank you, Thomas, for bringing that up. But he's saying, when are we going to do it like Mike, where he wore the Sidewinder and the Spirit at the same time?
I want to. I recently reached out to Mike when I saw that and said,
I want to. I want in.
I'm your guy.
Call me.
So we also are talking a little bit again with Ed, maybe possibly down the road about a dual side mount rebreather class. I think Ed is either developed or is developing.
He made it already, yeah.
It's already done. He's developed what I think is the only dual side mount class. So obviously
dual rebreather class.
Dual rebreather class, sorry.
Yes.
So we would very much consider doing that with him.
So if you thought one rebreather was hard,
or if you thought we sucked in our DPV first class, wait till you see us on 2 rebreathers.
Yeah. Is the secret mission video still coming? That one is already out. It's the one we released on Friday, not today, but a week ago. So you can go check that out. It's the one where Woody unplugged Ed's oxygen off inside a cave.
Not by surprise, because you've seen his biceps, right? This was all planned and controlled and safe.
Are you guys going to do any videos on more gear-related items? There's a lot of gear that people ask us to review, and some companies send us stuff. Like I have some fins in packages upstairs that I haven't tried. But the truth is that we have limited time to make videos, and our gear review videos do terrible. Like, nobody watches that. Like, 10% of our audience watches it, or 5% or something. It's really, really bad. So when it comes to creating content, obviously we want to create content that most of you want to watch and not a few of you. I get it that the few of you that watch gear reviews really get value from that. But, we try to make content that most people want to watch.
Hey, Nicholas, good question. With dual rebreathers, would you get rid of the bailouts, or why would you go with 2? We would not, from what I understand, we would not get rid of the bailouts. We're never going to get rid of them, and we would go with 2 because imagine the redundancy that we have. And if you're going to get into cave exploration, really long dives, number 1, our scrubbers have a limited life on a particular dive. So now we have double the amount of scrubber life and double the amount of redundancy. And there's more to it than that, but we would not get rid of the open circuit bailout option.
Well, not only that, but what Ed said is the real value also is in the smaller need to stage gas. Because now we're staging gas over, like all these tanks along the way for these deep dive or these longer dives with 2 rebreathers. If one rebreather fails, you still have another rebreather to swim back. So you have bailout, but you don't have to stage as much gas.
Yeah. And that would be something we would learn about with Ed in the class.
How old were you when you started diving? 35.
I was 11.
Is there really a difference between diving clean shaven or diving with a beard, or is it negligible? Sean, great question. It all depends on whether your mask is leaking. You know, if you have a beer and your mask leaks, then shave it, or find a mask that doesn't leak, like I did. I just tried a bunch of masks until I found one that doesn't leak for me. And people ask me what mask that is, but that question is really irrelevant because it depends on the shape of your face. Woody bought the same one, and it was terrible, and he sent it back because it wouldn't fit him right. So,
yeah, good answer. Hey, Joe, I do want to follow up on that, not just about how old I was, but how much has the dive equipment evolved since I started. This is over 4 decades ago. Imagine as if it's night and day. Mask, fins. We didn't really have a BCD. We had like a tank holder. Everything has changed. Plus, don't forget, we didn't have dive computers. So just that evolution. It's night and day. Way better now. Gus, when were you? It says so. Gus was. I don't know when you were born. When were you born?
83. The gear reviews are awesome. Yeah, thank you. I mean, I like the gear reviews mainly because we have 0 sponsors, and we don't care about what companies think of our gear reviews because we tell them up front, we're going to tell the truth and nothing but the truth. If you want to send me your gear, be ready, to get whatever feedback we have for real. And it is true that some of the channels that are out there that focus on gear reviews, they really only review the gear they sell. I don't know if you've noticed that. Some of these channels have like top 5 BCDs of 2022. Shocker, but the top 5 BCDs are the 5 BCDs they sell. So it's hard to take them seriously. They only talk about the stuff they sell. They would never say a BCD is better if they don't sell it. I just don't trust it, which is something you wouldn't get with Dive Talk. But once again, because we don't sell gear, but once again, they don't have a large audience.
Hey, social dive time. Dive Talk loop covers. If you can make them or know how to make them, that would be super cool.
Call us.
Right. We would love all that kind of stuff. We don't know how to do that stuff.
Yes. How do you manage deep dives without dive computers? What?
I don't know.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't think you should dive without them anymore.
What's having no dive computer? What does that mean?
Shearwater Terek is the best computer. Shearwater is our preferred computers.
Yes.
In general. Terek is a good one. There's many good ones.
All right.
Let's see. Anthony, I don't know about that
dive
question.
Because unheard of where my African American divers you know of. Legit question. Scared to dive because unheard of where I'm from any African American divers you know of. Are there any African American? Yes. Sure.
Of course.
Let's see.
Anthony, you asked a question about any tips for an overweight guy avoiding his dream of becoming a commercial diver. I mean, I wouldn't eliminate yourself based upon your own conclusion that you are too overweight. I don't know. That's very subjective, right? So you need to consult with maybe some commercial divers and ask them what their protocols would be.
This is a good question. If you're new at diving, is it common to become dizzy or feel disoriented? Is this something that occurs, when you first start and you're starting to adapt to your surroundings? I'm just curious.
Listen, vertigo is a real thing. Some divers do get vertigo, and they have to deal with it, and it's really uncomfortable because you don't know if you're going up or down. But you asked, is it common? And I would say it is very uncommon.
Yeah, this is a really good question from Nicholas. Would it be best to get dive gear online or in a shop? One little known secret about the dive industry is that in order for you to be a vendor for a company in the dive industry, you have to abide by their rules in terms of pricing. So that's why when you go to Amazon, for example, and you try to buy Shearwater Peregrine, is $495 or $450 or whatever it is, and it's the same price at your local dive shop. They cannot, increase the price. They cannot sell it for half off. The manufacturer Shearwater makes up those prices, and that's to make it even and fair for everyone. So whether you buy it online or whether you buy it at a shop, should be the same price. The thing online is that perhaps, maybe, possibly you can save in taxes, but I don't think it's an advantage. I'd rather buy it at a shop where if I have a problem, they'll give me another one right away. They'll, be able to service it. So buy it at a shop is my preference.
I like this question, Sammy. I'm a PADI advanced open water, but did I choose poorly not going SSI or NAUI? Are there major differences between them all? This is a great question. I am a PADI IDC instructor as well. Absolutely, you did not choose poorly. Absolutely, it's about the instructor and the experience you got with that instructor and your continuing experiences. I don't care if it's PADI, NAUI, it's irrelevant because they all have to follow the same RSTC prescribed skills. You did not choose poorly. PADI is fine, the biggest for a reason, and SSI is great as well, and so is NAUI. So please eliminate the dive agency from your decision of who to take diving lessons with.
So many good questions in a row. I don't even know which one to answer, but let's try to do them quickly. Number one, how does one vomit underwater without drowning? You just throw up through the regulator. They allow that. You can do it. All you get is a bunch of fish eating the vomit around you, which is kind of gross. The next one, how do you guys get into it? Is it expensive? We'd love to try it, but I feel the cost will hold me back. I mean, I think that, is it expensive? Well, compared to what? Like, I think golfing is more expensive than diving, but obviously it's going to be more expensive than playing soccer, which you only have to buy a ball at the shop. So, what is expensive for some is not expensive for others. But the good news is that you rarely in diving have to buy like thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars worth of gear all at once. You kind of build it along the way, so you kind of buy it little by little as you learn. Chanel, is there a formula to determine how much weight to use? I mean, not really. It all depends on what you're wearing, where you're diving, what is your configuration, if it's a steel tank or aluminum. I mean, there's not really a formula. I think anyone who tries to figure that out, it would be too much, too hard.
Yeah, but there is not a formula, Sean. But if you need to do the weight check skill correctly, which I'm not going to go through and describe the whole skill, but a lot of people don't do it correctly, and document. What was I wearing? What environment was I in? And start keeping track of that.
More questions. Open to dive with Mr. Ballin. Absolutely.
Yeah.
What do you do with the fear for sharks? I'm terrified of them.
Go diving with them.
Yeah.
That's my answer.
They're awesome.
And then you'll quickly learn. I just led a shark diving trip in Jupiter where we had so many great encounters. And guess what? The sharks could care less about us. And that's the best way. Go diving with a group that's going on a shark diving trip. And you'll see they don't care about you. And then you'll not be scared of them anymore.
How much does it cost to get certified? I mean, it all depends where you are in the world. I have to assume that probably in California is more expensive than if you're getting certified in Texas or something. I mean, I don't know. It's a few $100s, I would say. It's typically what you're going to pay for that.
Hey, Tom, a good question. How do you monitor your PPO2 in a full silt out? This is an Ed Sorensen drilled in my head. You should always know your PPO2 at any point in the dive. And you should know how many breaths on the loop it takes you to dial that down. If you get to the point where you're in a silt out for so long and you haven't been able to see your computer for so long, there's a safe gas, and that's your dill. You could just keep pounding the dill button, and at that point nothing can happen. You would never want to add O2, though, because that could put you into a convulsion situation. Thank you. Everybody loves Benny.
Yes, thank you so much for the super chat. And I'm going to answer that question in a second. But I had this one in mind. Can you talk about pre-dive superstitions? I think some people have pre-dive superstitions, like the whole, you shouldn't bring a banana on a boat or whatever. There's always superstition about that. I have zero superstitions about anything. I don't believe on it. So I don't have any rituals or anything. But for the people that have them and make them feel better and more comfortable, cool. They should.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah. The superstitions can actually mentally psych people out and get them stressed. So they matter because of that.
Yep.
Hey, everybody loves Benny. First of all, those super chats are extremely helpful. Yes. Guys, I recently came across Adventures with Purpose, such an amazing cause. Would love to see some reaction videos. We like those guys.
Yeah. We've talked to them multiple times with Jared and Doug at Adventures with Purpose. They were supposed to come to Georgia in February, but I don't think that worked out. We were supposed to have them here in the studio and do a reaction to one of their videos together. Video that has been requested a bunch of times. So we're big fans of the channel. Obviously they are they're a scuba channel, but what they're doing is, providing closure for families that have lost loved ones. They're not doing diving for fun. They have a mission. They're mission driven on their diving, and they are really good at executing that mission. So we're fans.
Interesting question from Maximilian or whatever. I can't read your name perfectly, but is becoming a diving instructor viable for a single source of income? I have been asked this a lot. I would tell you that you aren't going to get wealthy by being a dive instructor. You could work at a dive shop and supplement your dive instructor income with being a staff member at a dive shop, potentially get commission with sales, and then the dive instructor income is a supplement to that. It would be difficult probably to survive just as a dive instructor. Not saying people don't, and I'm not saying that's the case for everybody, but in general, that is difficult.
Yeah.
Hey,
sure.
Cody, my opinion on solo diving, since you're asking for opinions, I personally don't solo dive. I know there's training for it. I feel that we have a lot more options when we dive together in any situation, but there are courses for solo diving, and I would talk to a solo dive instructor, which I'm not one, about that.
This is a good question from Tom. What was your first experience in a cave like? Were you scared or did you immediately love it? I'm trying to think. I think my first cave was Ginny. And by the time I got to my cave diving training, because you have to go through cavern training before you become a cave diver. Even if you do a 0 to hero the way Woody did it, which is he did all of it in 11 days, the first 3 days or whatever is cavern training. So no matter how you do it, you have to get cavern certified first or gain those skills first. By the time you get to cave diving, you've done a bunch of it that is super similar to it. So it's sort of like the first time I was in a cave, for me, the thing that stuck the most was going through the eye at Ginny, is that it was hard. Because there's a lot of flow and it's kind of a small restriction, not a small restriction, like it's not hard to get through, but there's a big channel, the gallery, it's a huge thing. And then all that water funnels out through the eye and the ear, which are the two entries to the system. And the flow is insane. It's like swimming against a fire hydrant. So, man, it was just hard. And all those rocks that you pull are loose rocks. So you grab one and it moves. And so that was kind of the experience. I wasn't scared. It was more like, this is harder than I thought.
That's a really fair answer. I actually like that answer a lot.
Yeah.
I like some of your answers, but I like that one a lot because it's true. I think the first time you go in a high flow cave, it's very humbling.
Yeah.
For me, the first caves that I dove in were in the Abacos in the Bahamas that are absolutely beautiful with no flow. So my experience was, wow. That's all I kept doing. My eyes were like, wow and wow. But the other thing that I want to add, I thought Gus was going to say this, but he didn't, is cave diving, what humbled me was it's a whole nother level. When you think you've got buoyancy and trim under control as an open water diver, you're going to be humbled in a very big way when you start cave diving. You've got to take that up a notch.
Yep. Several questions about what we do for a living. We've talked about this on the show many times. I'm a software consultant and Woody is an investor on property, right? Commercial property, basically. Let's see. Just a lot of people saying thank you for the show. They love the show. Thank you for watching. Absolutely. Have you ever come close to a total panic attack?
No.
I don't think I've ever come close to a total panic attack ever, like in life, personally.
I haven't. I mean, I'm not saying that as like, wow, look at how brave I am. Yeah. I just haven't. I don't get that sensation. I'm also my years back I was a big climber. I never felt it in that. Mine's more like an adrenaline, and what happens to me if I'm in a tricky situation, I tend to get hyper focused. Like I tend to actually get calm. It's really weird, and I just hyper focus in that moment. So
yeah.
I don't know. I don't react that way.
That's kind of how I react too. I wonder. I mean, for me, like I've been in situations where I've been in like homes that are flooding and stuff like that, where my brain is sort of like, well, I cannot do anything for the flooding. Like flooding's happening now. Do this. Like my brain just is able to shift and focus on other stuff, and I think that helps with not panicking. I think to panic is to be overwhelmed, and my brain is really good at forget that. Let's focus on that. Yeah.
Erica, first of all, thank you for the super chat. I'll read our question. Was watching a video on the Buford Dolphin incident and saw you guys were live, so you guys know any divers that are smokers. I know it's bad for your health, but any special obstacles for divers that are cigarette smokers? I do know a lot of divers that are smokers. I do.
Yeah.
And they dive, and they dive well. And I would actually then tell you, if you are a big smoker, you're going to have to get a medical signed off by a doctor. So you need to ask your doctor, do you think I'm healthy enough being that I'm a big smoker? And if the doctor says you're okay, you're probably going to be fine in most diving situations. But, I mean, if you're already, like when you exercise, finding yourself very, very winded, then you got to be careful you don't get into a high flow situation where you have to work too hard.
Yep. Somebody was asking about the fact that they noticed that some CCRs are automatic and some are manual, like ours. What are the pros and cons and all of that? Just a quick. Well, all right.
Give me your opinion, and I'll give mine.
Yeah, for me, the pros of an automatic CCR is that it allows you to focus on other things. Like if you're a photographer, for example, your CCR will maintain your PO2. Like you can still look at it, but you don't have to physically be adding oxygen or diluent. It's just doing it for you. So you can just focus on taking pictures and all of that. The cons with that is that if you focus on taking pictures too much and something fails on your automatic system, then you can get in trouble. So I personally like the manual one because I'm flying the device. I'm operating it as I dive, which I really love. That's one thing that attracts me about rebreathers is that I'm actually the one diving it, and it's not diving itself automatically. So I love that. And also the fact that when I look at the best divers in the world, they all dive manual rebreathers. So that was interesting. And most of them happen to dive KISS rebreathers as well.
A lot of also top best divers in the world don't dive manual rebreathers, but I agree with every other part of Gus's answer.
What do you mean?
There are some world-class divers that dive if you will, rebreathers but the set point is being controlled by their computer.
Yes. Some of them do.
But I agree with the rest. I do also like to be in control of that at all times.
Yep.
Hey, Angel, thank you for the super chat. And it's all you said is you love us and you love the content. And, honestly, that's what keeps us going is that kind of stuff. So we're appreciate this.
This is a good question from Tom. Have you ever had a bad experience cave diving? If so, what? No, I've never had a bad experience cave diving, but I've had bad experiences with the cave diving community. That's a different thing. I think it's too much to talk about here, but the cave diving community, there's a lot of egos. There's a lot of people who love to prove they're the best cave diver in the world. And if you watch Dive Talk, you know that we are hell-bent on showing that we are not, definitely not the best cave divers in the world. And you should not look at us as role models. I really, really want to be like us. No, like the people that you should really, really want to be like are those that we feature in the channel, like Ed and Mike and Doug and Brian and Jill and everyone that we've had on our channel are the role models, not us. We're just regular cave divers that enjoy cave diving, and we love to share our experiences with you guys. But we will never come out and say, look at us, we're elite cave divers, and you know, we know more than everybody. A lot of people in the cave diving community are like that. They like to throw the fact that they've done whatever many thousands of cave dives, and look at me, I'm such a badass. We're not like that, and that's kind of my approach to it.
And I just want to add to that. Not only are we not like that, because we aren't the best cave divers, we're regular ones. The ones that say they are, that's the ones that I'm very worried about.
Yep.
Because I believe that I will never be the best cave diver. And however I'm cave diving today, I know I can learn more tomorrow. The moment you think you've reached the top, man, it is extremely dangerous, because this is unforgiving cave diving. That's why the training is so rigorous. So do not ever say you are one of the great cave divers. Even, by the way, the great cave divers, the ones we feature on the show, they don't say that.
Yeah.
They don't say, I'm the greatest cave diver. In fact, they're pretty humble, even though they are the greatest cave divers. So it's very, very dangerous to take that attitude, actually, in anything in life. But yeah.
I love the fact that we had a live stream earlier this week. It wasn't for Dive Talk. It was for something else. And Mike Young was in it. And they asked him, like, you know, Mike, you're like one of the best divers in the world, in history, probably, in terms of cave diving. Is there anyone that you look up to? And he rattled like 20 names. It was like, I look up to this guy and this guy and this guy and that girl and this. Like, he started going on and on and on and on about all these people that he thought were better than him and that he looked up to them. So I think staying humble is important.
Somebody asked about a Sidewinder versus an SF2. I'm going to always tell people that ask comparisons about rebreathers to talk to instructors on their various rebreathers. So we don't dive the SF2, for example. I don't dive it. I don't know anything about it. I'm not an instructor on it. I could not comment on it. It may be amazing. I can tell you the Sidewinder is amazing. I can tell you that for me, it puts me in the best trim I've ever been in my life, and it is an amazing tool for cave diving. I don't know about the SF2, so you should ask an instructor about that deals in it.
Yeah. Somebody asked, I've been watching Dive Talk since you guys were doing solo reactions. What made you decide to start doing them together? I think the biggest part about it was that the podcast was together before the reactions and before the videos. And number two, that you guys asked for it. A lot of the content of Dive Talk is driven by our subscribers. So our subscribers said, we want reactions with the two of you. So we bought another camera and set this whole thing up so we can do dual reactions. So before we only had one camera, which is this one that you're looking at. And as soon as you guys started asking for it, we invested, and here we are, dual cameras.
Thanks, Elaine, for that comment. Non-diver, but I love the channel, guys, because you please always stay humble. It's the most attractive thing about your channel. So maybe that is the magic sauce here, or it's just that, you know, we're real, and there's no reason not to be humble.
Have you visited Romania? Not yet.
But we heard it's beautiful, though. Parts of it.
We want to go to Romania. What are your two favorite dives so far, and what would you love to do next? Well, what we're doing next, I'm doing very soon, is the thing that I'm looking forward to.
I think it will be your favorite, but I'm not going to say what it is, but I would be shocked if it's not your favorite. It's my favorite. I'll leave it at that.
Is Gus a volunteer firefighter, or is the fire department sure randomly selected? Just curious. Thank you for asking. No, so the Beerstown Fire Department, it's actually a fire department led by Brian Becker, who's one of our subscribers. He sent us a super nice email saying that all the stuff that we talked about is something that the fire department in his town, Beerstown, which is a small town, he started the dive team, and they're all very new, and they were trying to look through YouTube for anything they can do to learn how to become better divers. They recently had died a boy that drowned at a lake, and nobody knew search and recovery and stuff, and they were struggling. They couldn't find the body. So he was very thankful, and we obviously told them that whatever they needed, we would be happy to support. Tell us what you want us to talk about and all of that. And as a gift, they send us T-shirts. So, you know, I like to show it. I like to give them a shout out every time I can.
Hey, Greg, this is a cool question. I mean, a cool comment. Are you guys going to do more videos of your dives? They're really interesting when you upload your videos and talk about them. Boy, oh boy, Gus, the next one that you're going to upload of a dive that we did is going to be I think the most interesting of all of the cave dives that we did, perhaps, because it's a wower. So yes, we will be doing more of that.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to try to use, by the way, we're going to try to use the 360 camera more, right?
Yeah. Well, they haven't.
That's a tool that you have.
They haven't seen the footage yet.
Okay, so Gus has a 360 camera now that we're gonna try to use, which will show 360-degree images of our dives.
It's pretty sick. Angel asked, when are we doing a motorcycle meetup?
Whenever.
Yeah. Let's wait for the weather to get a little better. It's cold right now. And we are not, you know, professional riders. We like perfect weather. But yeah, if you're near Georgia, let's do it. Motorcycle meetup sounds awesome.
I saw a question went by quickly about another dive agency. Like, what do you think of that dive agency and so forth? We are always going to come back to don't care about the dive agency. I don't care. It could be called QRLL3. I don't care. I only care about who is the instructor, what's their experience, what are your goals and objective in the class that you're taking, and can that instructor help you meet those goals and objectives as a diver? That's it. Forget the agency.
Alexander, good question. Will you be able to do a VR experience with a 360 camera? The answer is yes. We actually already shot some stuff. Some select very small group of people have seen it, and it was mind-blowing. But we want to do a better job with it before we publicly start sharing that stuff. Thank you, Woody, for spoiling the surprise, but now you know.
I didn't know it was a surprise.
Let's see. Are you going to the Crystal Caves together? That's your favorite, right, Woody? They're asking.
No comment.
But it is your favorite. The Crystal Caves, aren't they your favorite? You said.
They're magnificent.
Yeah.
Hey, this is a good question, though. Heather, I like this question. How would someone who has never gone diving but really wants to learn go about starting? So many local dive shops have something called Try Scuba or Discover Scuba. And they're going to get you in the water right away and let you try scuba diving with supervision. It could be in a pool and even with a little mini class, open water. I would suggest doing that. And hopefully you'll fall in love with it from that experience. That's how I would start.
Let's see. Will it be free, the VR experience? Sure. If we can find a way to put it up there, we want everyone to enjoy that. Come in a cave dive with us. Just cut up. Have you guys ever dived with the salvage diver style heavy suit setup?
I have not.
Do scuba divers wear earplugs? Not if you like your ears and your eardrums. You should never wear earplugs when you're scuba diving. I think they make some that are safe for scuba diving, but just don't wear plugs. No.
Hey, Frank, you've asked a question about, I noticed that divers train in Florida with warm waters need to be retrained when trying to dive in colder California waters because they never train in thick wetsuits and heavier weights. So it depends. I wouldn't stereotype it that strongly, but yeah, I grew up diving in Florida, and certainly in the ocean, they're never, if that's all they're diving, they're not going to have used anything more than a 5 mil, and they're never probably dove a dry suit. So I would recommend, if you're going to dive in those colder waters, that you take a dry suit class before diving in those colder waters. It's completely different type of diving, and you will need some training to get used to that.
this is important. Somebody asked, how do you become a member? If you live in a country where memberships are allowed, you do that by clicking on the join button, which should be down here somewhere. There should be a button that says join. And you click on that, pick the membership tier that you want to join at based on the benefits and perks you want, and become a member. That's how you do that. Somebody said, have you dived off the coast of North Carolina? Absolutely. That's how I got this thing. Megalodon teeth. Wrightsville Beach, 42 miles from the coast, 100 feet down. What do you guys think about secondhand gear? No problem. If it's serviced and in great working condition, yep, works. Is there any typical minor injuries when diving, such as eardrum injuries and whatnot? I guess so. There could be some injuries, but for me, it's more about like banging my shin into stuff and whatnot. That's typically the injuries that I get.
Shoebox asked a question about what is the danger or concern for being injured from coral? Well, first of all, don't touch the coral. I just want you to know right away that will actually injure the coral much more than it will injure you. It's extremely delicate, so even a brush stroke with your fins can kill that area of coral. There are certain kinds of coral that can sting you pretty bad. Fire coral is one of them, and you're not going to die from it. You're not going to die from it, but you're going to have a pretty serious skin irritation for a while, and then it'll go away. So nothing too serious.
Some good questions here. Hunter Owen asking, any advice for doing a drift dive for the first time? Never dove with strong current before. Enjoy it, my friend. I loved the stronger the current, the better. You do nothing on drift dives but float there and enjoy what you're going by. It's like a conveyor belt diving. It's the best thing ever. People are scared, but I actually embrace it big time. I love it.
Yeah. Some people are saying they don't have a join button. I've heard that before, so I don't know. I don't know
why. If you go to our channel, again, there's a membership tab. You should be able to join from there. If there is absolutely no option, then that means either you're not logged into an account, or you're in a country where it doesn't allow memberships, unfortunately.
By the way, on the coral question, I would recommend in the ocean you always dive. Always dive with a full wetsuit, not a shorty. That's my opinion, both for warmth, but also just because of your question, that there are poisonous things underwater. You got to be careful.
What if you wear glasses? How do you wear a mask when diving? You can wear contact lenses, or some masks allow you to have corrective lenses into them, right? You can, basically they put your prescription on them, which is pretty cool.
Somebody in Germany sees the join button, so maybe that's it. Maybe
then that means you haven't joined. So click the join button and join as a member. If you can see the join button, then you're doing it wrong. Click on it, become a member.
It's saying some people they can't join off of a phone.
Oh,
you need to do it off a computer.
That's a bummer. Somebody asked if we've been to Panama City Beach in Florida. Yes. Let's see.
Yes, I have dove with great white sharks. That's a question from Mad Rabbit. And it was amazing. Absolutely incredibly amazing. Off of South Africa.
Nicholas is asking, do they custom fit flippers, or are they adjustable like cheaper ones? Please don't call them flippers. Number one. They're fins. But, yeah, they're pretty adjustable. I mean, they come in different sizes: small, medium, large, extra large, extra large. So depending on your size, foot, whereabouts, you'll pick the size, and then the strap on the back will make it fit snug. Plus, you typically wear boots with your fins. So
play games. Thank you. You just joined as a toe dipper, and we really appreciate it. I have dove the Great Lakes. This is from the real Smagoose recently. And I dove it in a dry suit and dry gloves, and we saw some incredible wrecks because they are very pristine there. That was a very recent experience I had. Gorgeous stuff. Hard work, though. You guys, boy, you Great Lake divers, that's some hard work to get all the dry gloves on and everything.
Top 3 bucket list dives. I mean, there's so many.
Tough one.
So many things. Can you change the membership perk? I'm not sure what that means. And he'll send us an email on that. Are there any unspoken rules between divers? Have you ever seen anyone kicked off of a diving class? I've seen people kicked off of diving boats and operators. Like, you are never allowed to dive with us again. I don't know if I've seen them out of a diving class. I think that I've seen people who basically the instructor says, I think you need a little bit more coaching, more practice, something like that. If they're not picking up the skills, maybe Woody has a lot more examples than me because he's been an instructor for a lot longer. But the only time I've seen somebody being kicked out has been from a dive boat, and that's because they were unsafe. Like they ran out of air, for example, and they always tell you on the briefing, security or safety briefing, that you should be on the boat with at least 500 PSI, or, in case of, bar, I'm sure they have a minimum for that. So that's what they tell you. And the guy ran out of air completely. And I think it was the second time with that operator that he ran out of air completely, and he got kicked out.
I have seen people kicked out of a dive class. Unfortunately, their behavior was really inappropriate. So it's more for that. Not kicked out ever because they couldn't accomplish a skill or because they had to work harder, but it was due to what would be considered inappropriate behavior in any situation.
Like getting drunk or whatever?
Intoxication was one of them. That's very good. I've had that happened. And some other, sexual innuendos and inappropriate behavior that way. And that happened, and they can't be in the class after that.
Won't do it again.
Any violation of alcohol or drugs, you're going to be removed from the class.
Yes, so people on iPhones can see the join button. Just open it on your browser, and that's what they're saying. If it opens in desktop mode, you can join. So hopefully you can do that.
I have dove in cold water many times, Slobin, many times. In fact, ice dived. I took an ice diving class. But yeah, if Mike asked me to, I would as well. As long as I have appropriate heaters for my dry suit, I would and already have. Need more DPV videos. Yeah, they're cool.
I need more DPV dives.
We will.
I see a lot of people using kissing. Cave diving doesn't make a good rebreather on open water. Absolutely. They're awesome regardless. Let's see.
Do you consider moving back to Florida in the future? I guess that's for me. I'm in Florida a lot, and I have I'm very blessed to have some incredible property in South Florida. So I don't have a real need to move there because I feel like I'm there every month, either in cave country or in South Florida. And so I don't know if I would move back, but I'm there often.
Does anybody use a hookah rig in cave diving? No. Can you dive with diabetes? I guess so. I mean, again, as long as your doctor signs off on it, you can dive with a lot of medical conditions. You just have to have a doctor sign off on it.
For me, South Florida, where in South Florida is Fort Lauderdale by the Sea area is where I have a hotel there called Ocean Treasure in Lauderdale by the Sea.
I wanna expand a little bit on the whole diabetes thing because it reminded me of one of our friends, Brian, who had a medical condition. I don't remember what it is, and if I knew, I wouldn't share it. But he went to the doctor to get clearance, and the doctor said, yeah, you can dive down to 50 feet or something like that. And I knew a very big red flag or a tell sign that your doctor is not a diver, knows nothing about diving, is the fact that they put caps on your depth of diving. Some doctors will be like, yeah, I'll allow you to dive down to 30 feet or 10 meters or 20 meters or something like that. If they do that, then they don't know what they're talking about. You need to go to a doctor that knows about diving. I haven't heard of any condition like that. And the main reason for that is that the biggest change of pressure happens on the first 10 meters or first 30 feet. Your pressure doubles up. Your ambient pressure doubles up. So diving from 30 to 60 is not as much as a change as from 0 to 30. So doctors that say you can go down to 60, but not deeper than that, they don't know what they're talking about. Get with a doctor that knows. So Brian, our friend, got that. I put him in touch with Doug Eversole, who's a doctor and a diver, and Doug was like, absolutely, you can dive to whatever depth. So he signed up to learn how to dive.
Hey, Kevin Bell. Yeah, that's about right. I've been to around 400 and Gus around
250, 248.
Dead sea diving. I have been in the Dead Sea many times, actually. Diving it, I've never seen anybody dive in it, just sort of bathe or swim in it. There's nothing alive in it, really. It's so salty. You just float on the top.
Several people have asked whether we have been contacted or talked to or dive with Donald Cerrone. No, we've never been contacted or dive with or whatever, but we would.
Oh, cool. Olya, you live right there, or your mom lives in Lauderdale by the Sea.
Stacy coming in again with that consulting job. She's fighting hard for that. We have a customer that has an onboard insulin pump who's a cave diver.
There you go.
So
very cool, Stacy.
Thank you, Stacy, again.
It really, though, comes back to always consult with your doctor. We really got to be careful, Gus and I, about giving any medical advice at all, because we could actually get in trouble for that. Doctor.
Have we ever been diving in a halocline? Yes.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of wild, though, because when you come out of the halocline, you come back into fresh water, and you're like, and you got to be careful because you can sink pretty quickly.
Yeah, moving to Florida for diving, I wish I could. I mean, I would. I talked to my wife about it a bunch of times, but we have kids in school, and she doesn't want to change them from school, and they already have friends and all of that. But yeah, I would live in Florida, no problem.
A lot of people are asking this question: how much does it cost to scuba diving? It's all over the board. I cannot give you a good answer. If you're going to do open circuit diving and you're going to buy your own gear, $3,000 to $5,000. If you're going to go into tech diving and it's a rebreather, I'd call it $10,000 to $15,000 minimum. But it's really hard to answer that in a big, broad way like that. It's all dependent upon the gear, and it can vary in a big way.
Yeah, but again, don't get pushed back by it, because somebody says, how much does it cost to get into driving cars? Well, 30 to 40,000. Like, it's hard. Those ranges are hard, and they're not meant to scare anyone.
And you don't have to buy your own gear, by the way.
Right. You can rent gear. You can, borrow. I had my rebreather certification on a borrowed rebreather. So I hated that people get scared and don't even look into it because they fear that is unattainable.
Yeah. Hey, Olya, I was born and raised in Fort Lauderdale. I actually think on the water in the Intercoastal, it is the prettiest city I've ever seen to this day. But I actually love living in Atlanta. I built my family here. I built my businesses here. And I'm fortunate to be able to go to Fort Lauderdale regularly. So there's just no reason to live there permanently. But it is spectacularly beautiful.
This is an interesting question. If you could pick one thing, be it a certification or a trip, that you regret and you wish you hadn't done, which one would it be? I'm trying to think. I don't know.
A trip that I went on that I regretted?
Or a certification or anything dive related.
That's weird that we're both stumped on the same question, because I think that we both tend to live in the moment. I've noticed. Maybe that's why we get along.
Yeah.
Like whenever we're in a particular class or a dive, we're always really into that moment. It's almost like we forgot about all the other awesome experiences while we're in that moment. And that, for me at least, keeps me very interested in the activity of scuba diving, because I like to live in the moment. And who am I diving with? It's new people. It's new gear. It's new environment. I love learning. I love the challenge. So I don't ever regret it, maybe because I live in the moment when I'm diving.
The only regrets I can think about that are dive related are gear purchases. I've bought stuff thinking that I got a great deal, and then it ended up not being a great deal. Or I had, I bought something thinking it was the best, and then I talked to somebody and it ended up, being a horrible idea. So those are typically the bad decisions that I've made. I've regret many of them, and I will probably continue to make them because I'm an idiot.
It's a funny question, Shoebox. What are your usual foods to eat before diving? Do you bring food rations or something while cave diving? I'm not educated. Look, I'll speak for myself. I'm not really a very healthy eater, so my usual, Big Mac, chicken sandwich, Biggie fry, healthy stuff like that. I don't usually bring food rations, and I don't do the kind of cave diving. Like, I'm not a cave explorer, so whatever, they're 2 to 3 hour range, and I can wait and eat after. So I don't bring rations.
We have, like I'm saying, we have the worst eating habits on cave diving trips.
I would say we're not an example.
We go like without lunch or breakfast or anything until like 4, and then we go and eat everything they have at whatever restaurant we end up.
But that 2-for-1 Burger King special is solid.
Is the worst.
Yeah, we're not good that way.
Yeah. Loving the Olympic texts, people, because I post the stupid text message you send me like every night. You need to stop watching the Olympics, first of all. And I don't even want to think about the Summer Olympics because you'll have the worst ideas. But sometimes
there's an activity that I want to do.
No.
That I got from the that I was like, wow, we could do that one together.
We're definitely not doing whatever that is.
If you think bobsledding's aggressive,
just don't even. But anyway, really cool. I've been posting these text messages I get from Woody, 100% real. This is not him like, oh, I think this is gonna be funny for YouTube. No. There's a lot that I don't post, by the way, that I just get and I'm like, I just put my phone away. It's just so outrageous. But in a lot of cases, I do take a screenshot and I upload it. All of them 100% real, and they're all outrageous and ridiculous.
I'm so glad I'm me and I'm not you.
Thank you.
And I don't mean that in a totally insulting way, but I would way rather live in my way of life than yours. He's so negative and closed-minded, and I just love life and love exploring everything. So that's my response to him. And there'll be way more of those messages now. When he says stuff like that, you know how many more messages? His phone's going to blow up.
So stupid.
Get ready.
During the Tokyo Olympics, you sent me some ridiculous stuff.
I may post them myself, though, but I don't need his permission to post on my channel, so you'll get plenty more.
Jesus.
Way more. We answer that question. Do we watch Adventures with Purpose?
Yes, we answer that.
Yeah, we like it a lot. They're great. I would like to do stuff with them.
Have you ever dove hungover? Not really. We typically don't drink anything on our diving trips. I've had, maybe I don't know how many diving trips we've done, but on 2 or 3, I've had 1 beer to celebrate something. Yeah, a certification or whatever, but never drunk.
But what I want to talk about there is why. Why would you not want to dive hungover?
Wait, they're saying there's no sound. Can you guys not hear us?
Hello?
No, they should hear us.
Testing? Can you hear us?
I hope so.
No sound. No.
What?
Hello, testing. Can anybody hear? My mic is working.
Yeah. People are saying found. There is sound.
Okay. Hey, no sound. Yes, okay.
All right. Thank you.
Don't ever dive hungover because of dehydration.
Yeah.
Dehydration can absolutely get you bent in a hurry.
Absolutely. All right.
We're back.
Everybody's saying we're loud and clear. Thank you. Okay, let's see.
Trolling about the sound. Okay. Ban the trolls.
Ever met Alec Pierce Scuba? I love Alec, by the way. I've talked to Alec many times. We've thought about doing a couple of episodes together, but Alec is hard to reach. And the reason for that is that I think Alec is kind of like Woody in the sense that they're kind of stuck in the past a little bit. So Alec,
that kind of guy.
I think he lives on a farm somewhere, which is the opposite of you, where you live.
I'm country.
Okay. So Alec lives in a farm.
I have a scuba van.
He's like a legit farmer. So yeah, so when he's not at the shop shooting videos, he's like, yeah, just call me and patch me in through, the live stream. Like, Alec, that's not none of this works like that. So it's just funny, but yeah, we love Alec. He's great. Let's see.
I'm country. I will eat beef jerky.
Dude, that's
kind of country-ish.
No.
Let's see. All right. Yeah, we definitely have some big plans for the 100,000. Thank you, Detective.
Yes, thank you
for the super chat.
Australian
Guzman
dollars.
And Woody, hope you're well. Elizabeth and Octopus are aliens.
5
Thank you.
Armenian dollars. Octopus are aliens.
True.
Woody, when are you heading to Pripyat, which is Chernobyl? When are you? You should go, and let me know how that went.
Well, then you would be back to being solo on the channel, which
is great. Shout out from Montreal, Canada.
Have your 10 subscribers.
What? Shout out from Atlanta.
Thank you, guys.
Would you ever take Mr. Ballin on a dive? Absolutely.
We would love to.
He's badass.
That's a good question. Answering a question for Anna. So let me read it. William is answering a question. His answer is the lines are purposely placed out of sight from the cavern zone to help divers resist the temptation that shouldn't be there. In other words, the reason why they don't have a line already permanently all the way to the surface is they don't want people going into the cave zone. So they want you to have to tie a line to reach the main line that's already in the cave. Thank you. Flip. Go to Chernobyl diving with flea market gear for 100,000 confirmed. Woody and Gus. Well, thanks for the super chat, but yeah.
We talked to those guys, by the way, the Chernobyl guys. It's just it's a little bit tough with the translation barrier, but we love them. They're great. They're funny.
Bring saran wrap and a fishbowl, yeah.
It would be easy to pack for that one. I can tell you that much. What's the most intense thing you ate underwater? Nothing. I haven't.
I'm drinking apple juice, those little apple juices underwater, but I've not eaten anything.
How do you two know each other? We've talked about this a couple years ago. I took a class and Woody was my instructor. Shout out from a basement in Chernobyl. Great.
Huh. Wow.
Cheers. Do you talk to Suze as well? Yeah, I mean, we talked to them, to their channel. I'm not sure who's responding, but.
Always asking about a 7-year-old diving to 80 feet. Look, most dive agencies say you need to be at least 10. Most limit their depth to 40 feet until they're age 14, and then they can bump up to a 60-foot depth. So I'm going to go with the standard agency answer that I wouldn't bring a 7-year-old to 80 feet. Or 30 feet, maybe that says. Sorry. 30 feet, again, most agencies would recommend they get certified once they're 10 years old.
Yeah. What do you think about GUE? And earlier I saw a question about UTD. Some of these agencies are what people call DIR or doing it right agencies. I think that for the most part they're great. There's pros and cons about every agency, just like the other regular agencies. But for the most part, they advocate for solid foundation and trim and buoyancy and right propulsion techniques. So we're all about that. Patrick, thank you so much for the super chat, and Olia as well.
And Patrick, always, when you come on, you support us in a big way.
Yeah, thank you.
And he actually chose me to be his rebreather instructor.
Yeah, people are saying, hi, Patrick. He's like,
he's a regular. Thank you.
Yeah, he's regular
awesome.
on Dive Talk, which is
great. He's awesome. And Olia, thank you as well. And thank you for all your questions, Olia.
Yeah. Let's see.
My longest dive for me is about 3 hours.
Yeah. 2.5. I don't remember exactly. 150 something minutes, whatever that is. I think it's.
I love the Blue Heron Bridge. This is from Angel. It is incredible amount of species there. You need to dive it at the right time when high tide, and I like it going with a guide. I struggle to see all the life that they tend to be able to see.
People love Patrick's footage. I'm glad they loved it and they didn't get distracted by Woody thinking that he can talk to fish. So thank you.
But luckily Patrick saw that I could, and he enjoyed that.
Not a thing. Let's see. Would you ever dive to 500 plus feet, and how deep do you want to go? You know, I personally, I don't speak for Woody, but I personally don't have any like records that I want to hit in terms of depth. I much rather have the skills and the knowledge to be able to do those dives than to just do it to hit the record, even though I don't know what I'm doing. I don't want that. Would I ever dive to 500 feet? Sure, as long as I know what I'm doing and it's safe to do so. But it's not a goal of mine, to do it. Like a bucket list thing.
Brad, I am a CCR instructor. I teach on the KISS Spirit. It is a back mount rebreather. I tend to use that one when I'm doing open water diving, not cave diving. So, yes.
Do you also know ISE, Inner Space Explorers? Yep. I like them as well, and he's legit. It's a good channel to find technical information. He's legit.
Hey, Joe, I have seen people keep some of their old dive gear from the 80s and 90s. They'll come in every once in a while to where we teach them. I teach at Sea Ventures. I'm actually wearing their hat here in Alpharetta. And sometimes they do, and they really like that gear. It happened on this shark trip I just recently led. As long as they keep it serviced, there's no rule saying they can't use it.
Do you have or would you like to have a reef or a marine aquarium? Nope and no.
It's a lot of work, and I don't. It's really a lot of work.
We have the Georgia Aquarium. There's no need to have your own aquarium.
Oh, that's true.
Did you guys react to the guys from Russia diving in the Chernobyl radiator water? What? What guys from Russia? I'm not sure.
Hey, he's being sarcastic. Just look at our current video, the one we posted today, and we have a one from their first dive as well.
Why are you asking this? This question. This is why somebody should be filtering these chats. Somebody's asking if you speak octopus. Why?
Mm-hmm.
Like, why are you?
They asked
That's
because
no. There's no. No. The answer is no.
I had a really cool relationship with Ophelia at the Georgia Aquarium. I did, and I miss her because the octopus don't live long. Everybody, they only live for like a year.
And Ophelia died like 2 years ago. That's why you miss her.
Her and I, we just every time I went in her tank, man.
Ophelia died.
It was incredible.
Like 2 years ago.
It was really
There's
special.
a new guy named Pancho. Do you even know Pancho?
I don't know him. I haven't been.
Pancho is awesome.
Have you ever dove with Pancho?
No, I haven't dove with Pancho, but he's
dive
awesome.
with Pancho, have a conversation with him.
Oh my God.
All right, let's keep going. Thanks for inspiring me, guys. Oh, cool, Heather. That's great. You watched our videos and made you feel better about going to learn to dive, and that, for me, is a very fulfilling purpose of the channel.
Kevin Bell is saying, make me a mod. No. No, Kevin. Anyone but Kevin. I don't know who Kevin is. I felt like he was a little, aggressive on how he came.
Yeah, that is true, Odysseus. Where, when you get to those depths, man, the work of breathing is tricky. You have no room for error, as you said, and it gets hard to breathe. And it's the density of the air, right? The pressure is making it denser and denser, so it's hard to breathe.
All right. Do you guys solo dive? No.
I don't. Mm-mm.
When people do body retrievals or archaeological dives, they seem to change their tanks and whatnot. Is it because they're breathing harder? I'm not sure. Wait, if I understand the question. How long does it take me to edit a video? Depending on the video. Like the reaction videos are a lot easier to edit because we don't really edit anything. We just post our thoughts, and we don't care if we make mistakes or whatever. So we just post them out. But then some of our dives that have like dual camera action and stuff like that, those are a little bit harder because it's just a lot of content to go through in order to get the right video.
Hey, CK, yeah, you're right. Hypercapnia is also a bigger possibility when you're very, very deep because you could be breathing fast, and that can build up a lot of CO2. And that is very dangerous.
Would you like to explore and dive the Mariana Trench? I mean, no, not really, because you wouldn't see anything. It's just too deep. There's just blackness below you. There's no point.
Thank you, Hayden, for the super chat.
Yes.
Shout out from Australia. Keep up what you're doing. Thank you very much.
Let's see. It says, now that I'm a member, will my perks show up automatically, or do I have to click to see the perks button? I'm not sure what the perks button is, but the perks are whatever based on your membership. Gus and Woody, what are your favorite bands? What do you think, Woody? Do you have a favorite band? I shared with Woody recently Wait and Bleed from Slipknot, and he almost had a heart attack.
I'm still taking Tylenol. I'm weird. I really like music based on the mood I'm in. I don't know about a favorite. It's really hard to pick a favorite. It depends what kind of mood I'm in. So, I'm old school. I like old classic rock and roll.
Which is?
Led Zeppelin probably would be up there as a go-to for me.
Really?
It's just what I love their music. I think they were so talented. I don't know. I don't know if they're my favorite, but I'm old school.
Do you guys golf? No.
I mean, what I do with a golf club and golf ball, I've been told is not qualified to use the word golf.
Yeah.
I just smash the ball, and it just goes nowhere but anywhere close to where it's supposed to go.
I don't golf at all. Don't see the point yet, and mainly I'm scared of it because I know that once I do it, I'm going to have to spend thousands of dollars in gear and get into it, and I don't want to. How many years have you guys been specifically cave diving? I think Woody got certified in 2019, and I got certified in 2020, so a couple years. Do you guys smoke cigars? Sometimes. Woody doesn't. He doesn't like it. He doesn't see the point. I smoke once in a while. I don't know, like once every 2 months or whatever. I'm not, like I can go a year without cigars. It's not a big thing for me, but sometimes, if I'm at the beach and stuff.
Hey, Bruce.
Cigars, good.
The Shearwater Purdick or Tarek, depends on what you're going to use it for. One is also a watch. It's smaller. Can't see it. I'm wearing it now. I tend to wear that day to day. But I do like the Purdick if I'm wearing my dry suit. It's a bigger screen and easier to put around a dry suit. Tarek I like if I'm using a wetsuit, but I don't like it on my dry suit. I know they have a band that expands around and makes it bigger, but I just find the Purdick to be more comfortable if I'm dry suit diving. Tarek, open water diving, absolutely. I wear that as my go-to.
Joe Dragon is asking me what's my dream car. It is a Senna. That is my dream car.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Thank you, CK. You just became a toe dipper.
And that's because Ayrton Senna is my favorite athlete of all time. So if I could have that would be amazing. SomebI said, let's see, favorite piece of gear. Oh, man, that's so hard. I mean, I love my computers. I think probably my Shearwater Purdicks is my favorite thing. But, I mean, my Spirit is up there. My Kiss Spirit is probably my number one favorite thing.
It's amazing. They're amazing. I'll go equally with my Spirit and Sidewinder.
Yeah.
The right tool for the right dive. Sidewinder, cave diving, Spirit for any open water environment.
Yeah. And that is a McLaren Senna, by the way. For those of you wondering, Senna, what is that? Is that a brand? No, McLaren makes it. So it's a McLaren Senna. If you Google it, you'll see what that is.
Thanks for the encouragement from Cool Kid. We are going to keep it going. That is what we want to do for a long time, and it's thanks to you guys. Thank you.
This has been a long live stream. We'll end it in about 50 minutes or so because we have another live stream starting 47 minutes from now.
With Orca Torch.
With Orca Torch,
if you want
yes. Go win some lights.
Win some lights.
Go to Facebook, search Orca Torch, and you'll see it. We'll be talking about cave diving and giving away lights, which is my favorite thing.
I'll tell you the strangest fish that I ever have seen is the mola mola. Man, when you see a mola mola, a sunfish for the first time, which I did, and I was like, whoa, dude, you are some hybrid of like a goat, a sheep, and a fish. It's really, really wild to see one.
Kevin, I was kidding, man. Don't get so tough on us. Spirit versus Sidewinder regarding traveling, they're both a pain. I mean, there's just a lot of stuff. Traveling with rebreathers is just a lot of stuff. So I don't think you get more or less. They're both equal when it comes to traveling because you have to pack a lot of stuff. Can you give us a tour of your studio? A lot of people have asked about that, but we don't have a way to share it, really. Our channel doesn't work like that. So even if I recorded it, I wouldn't know where to post it.
Hey.
Yeah. Super
Titan
chat from
Tech. I want to read this one.
Let's do it.
I've been diving at the Living Seas exhibit at Epcot, and I would consider it one of the best dives I've done. What's it like diving with whale sharks at the Georgia Aquarium? Absolutely, the Georgia Aquarium Ocean Voyager, which is the largest environment in the world, is incredible. Has over 125 species, not just the whale sharks, but all the species from all over the world are incredible. But with the whale sharks, it's pretty amazing to dive with them that close. You actually got to be careful because they're so big and they can bump into you. So if you happen to be up high in the water column and they're up high and you're not watching and they bump you, it's like a school bus pushing you. So amazing environment to dive in for sure. Come dive it. Come dive the Georgia Aquarium in their dive immersion program.
Yeah. Several people keep asking questions about what we do for a living and whether we're full-time YouTubers or divers. And no, we both have jobs outside of this. This is just a hobby. We do it for fun. I wish I could dive more often, but I typically can only dive about once a month.
Your dry suit class is coming up, William. That's fantastic. The tip I'll give is not specific. I don't like to do that on stuff like that. Like, do this in your dry suit, that. What I will tell you is the mental tip. Be open-minded and accept the fact that it's going to feel pretty weird for the first couple of dives. And then, like everything, it'll come. So don't get frustrated on getting into it and the whole getting ready and the weight you got to use. Just be open-minded and really to your instructor's ideas, and it will get more comfortable as you go. I actually prefer using my dry suit now over wetsuit.
Yep, and I didn't answer that question. What was the coolest fish I've ever seen or whatever? I've seen, whale sharks out at sea, but I think my favorite so far has been the octopus. Seeing an octopus in person has been awesome. That's my favorite.
Yep, they're amazing.
Somebody asked about what was my opinion on Omega watches for dive watches. Look, I have watches. I love them. I love watches. Not a secret in this channel. I've shown a few of my watches, but I rarely dive with a watch. I just don't think they're as useful as a computer. I don't think it's worth diving with a watch, even though I have dive watches like this one that I'm wearing right now. It's a dive watch. I rarely use it for diving.
After fins and masks, good regs or BCDs. Oh, boy, there's listen, there are a tremendous amount of choices. I think we both tend to answer this way. I'll just answer for myself. Go to your local dive shop.
Yes.
And buy the ones that they support, that they service, and that you're going to be diving with, those people that are diving in the same stuff, right? I don't want to point out one particular one. There's a lot of good brands.
This is a good question. If you could take one celebrity or athlete on a dive, who would it be? I feel like there are multiple ways to answer this one, but I think Will Smith will be fun because he already dives, so it will be fun to show him some stuff. But yeah, have I killed any more lionfish? Unfortunately, not. I haven't been doing that for months now. I would love to go back and do that. Have you ever encountered jellyfish?
Oh, that's what I was
reading. The same one?
Yep, lots of jellyfish. Absolutely. If you're in an area where there's a lot of jellyfish, wear a full wetsuit and a hood. And not a cause for concern for most jellyfish in our region of diving, Florida. It could sting a little bit. We don't have the box jellyfish. That is the deadliest animal in the ocean. And you find those off of Australia.
Obviously.
And you want, because Australia has everything that'll kill you. The box jellyfish, there is nothing more potent in the ocean, more deadly. And you got to wear a hood if you're in that region. They're very hard to see. Blue ring octopus also, guess where they are? Second deadliest animal. Can you guess where they are? The killer continent of Australia.
That's right.
Okay.
The total nightmare. Place.
Beautiful diving, nothing to be worried about when you dive there. Just wear the appropriate gear.
All right, let's see. We got 10 more minutes. So get your questions in.
Yep, a lot of people.
I am blown away that the viewers have stayed with us this whole time.
I know. Thank you.
And so many things people could be doing on a Friday night. They chose to spend it with us. But I doubt that any of these guys will go join the Orca Torch live stream. You think they'll be there?
I wish.
Well, we'll see. We'll see if you guys will.
Really good questions.
I don't know. Yes.
Yeah, you're right, Olya. Man of War, it can be nasty, you know. But again, we're always in a full wetsuit.
Ashley is saying that I live in Australia. Well, you're one of the lucky ones that haven't been killed by one of the many poisonous.
It's awesome, man. I love Australia. I've dove it, and it's incredible. And
I love Australia too.
It's just amazing diving. I mean, your reefs are incredible.
All right.
Where do we find the stream? People are asking. The
Facebook. So go to Facebook and search for Orca Torch, and the stream is on their official site. Starts in 40 minutes.
I do think, Shoebox, you should treat stingrays as with all marine life with respect. Don't chase after them. Let them come to you. And if they run away after they get near you, typically if you're chilled and don't chase them, they'll circle back around. They should absolutely be just looked at and not chased. But they're amazing. And
have I been to the Plura Cave in Norway? Not yet. Not yet. But there was a trip, by the way, that they invited us to go to, but it was like frozen in Norway.
You had me saying no at Frozen.
Lamar Hires is leading it, by the way. So it's legit.
Frozen is the part.
You lost me at Frozen.
Thank you. Anastasia, you got certified because of watching us.
That's awesome.
That's our favorite comment, I think. We hear that.
That is awesome.
I like eagle rays, by the way. People often ask me what kind of rays are my favorite to see in the water. There's something majestic about the eagle ray. Yep, giant manas are as well. How do you convince your girlfriend to cave dive with me? I don't know. I don't know, man. Playful. I wouldn't over convince her. Just I don't even know what to tell you, man. Watch videos about cave diving. I'm not sure.
What's up, Johnny Miller? Are you guys fans of liveaboards?
Yeah.
Shannon is asking. You like them?
I love them. I think you can get tremendous dive education. You can do 20 or 25 dives in a week on a liveaboard, and they take you to remote places that aren't dove often, which is great. And they know. Oh, and the other thing is they always put guides in the water with you, and they know their environment. Mm-hmm. So they show you stuff that you would otherwise easily miss. I think they're an amazing way to dive. I'm just giving my ears a rest. Give me 1 second. I've been on for so long.
That's right. Let's see. Submariner or deep sea? I mean, it all depends on what's more important to you. The Submariner is way more comfortable to wear than the deep sea. The deep sea is a big watch. So if you like 44 millimeters and you don't mind heavy watches, the deep sea is awesome. The Submariner is just way more comfortable.
Ever had encounters with snakes underwater? Oh, man, have I ever. It was amazing. In Indonesia, again, I keep going back to Indonesia, sea snakes, lots of them. Like literally tons of them. And they're super passive. I know they have this bad reputation of being like so poisonous, but they are very, very passive. They almost never, ever bite. And they just are curious, and they swim all around you, and they're great. No problem. Mm-hmm. Zero issue. So,
do divers carry a knife to cut themselves out of rope if they get stuck? Yeah, typically. Freeing yourself out of stuff.
What do you think about ice diving in radioactive water? I think that I would not want to do that. That's about all I have on that.
For sure. Let's see. Why do I hear many say they were underwhelmed by breaking a depth record? I mean, because I think that in a lot of those cases, the divers that break depth records, they do it as a bounce dive. So they literally will come down, hit a new record, and start going up. So that, I mean, what satisfaction is on that? I guess knowing that you've been the person that went 1 foot deeper than someone else, but that's not. I don't dive for that. That's not what I do it. So it's not a big deal for me.
Hey, Titan Tech, thank you
for another super
for the super chats. They're really helpful. I've dove at the Blue Grotto Cavern, and I was scared to even think about cave diving until I saw your videos with that, and now I want to get certified. Thank you for showing us how awesome it is. And I do like that you didn't say, I want to cave dive. You said, I want to get certified. That's the right attitude, so I think you're going to love it because you want to get properly trained. That's great.
All right. Let's see. Is there any animal you're afraid to encounter while diving? No? Not really. I mean, it would be weird if I found like a rhino. I would be scared of that.
You know what? For me, I've had an opportunity to dive in some rivers in countries where there are crocodiles. The alligators I don't have a problem with. Crocodiles, they're a little bit aggressive. I'm not really like looking to go diving with crocodiles.
Okay. I guess I'm glad. Have you ever gone diving in Iceland?
Yes. Do you want to dive with crocodiles?
No, I do not. Yeah. Definitely not.
There you go. Did you guys end up going to Micronesia? I've been to Micronesia 3 or 4 times. It's spectacular. I loved Chuck Lagoon. I have done a rebreather trip there. I want to go back, and we have not been. I haven't been back recently.
Yeah, my trip kept getting canceled because of COVID so many times. Have you guys ever found megalodon teeth? Yes, a bunch actually.
Off of the coast of Wilmington.
Are you guys in different locations when recording your videos, or just different rooms?
No.
Neither one of those two things.
Literally right now, sitting across from each other separated by nothing more than a desk.
Well, we're like merged. See, like
in this video, we're.
You didn't do the. All right. What diving gear do you think requires most innovation? Computers, maybe? I don't know. I'm pretty happy with my gear.
No crocodile diving. Yeah, I mean, look. It's just not something I'm looking to do. They're probably fine. I don't know. They're unpredictable for me.
Yeah, love from Canada.
Thank you.
I haven't been in Canada in a while. I wanna go back.
They're doing great in the Winter Olympics.
Dude, stop watching the Winter Olympics. I told you. You made me remember my childhood dream of diving. Going to get my certification next month. Big fan from Brazil. Otavio Rodriguez. Parabéns. Good. I love it. Yes. People are now discussing whether hippos are worse than rhinos. I'm not sure where we went with that. Jamaica, we have a bobsled team. Heather, still watching Cool Runnings. She watches Cool Runnings every day. Do you know that?
No, but yep.
I just made that up. Have you ever dived in Alaska? No, I've never been to Alaska.
And I have not either.
I would love to. Why not?
Thanks, Avion. You found the Orca Torch page, and you'll be there. Cool. Maybe you'll win a light.
Yeah.
They have great lights.
Liquid breathing diving. Oh, no. Don't get Woody started with that. 2 minutes, guys, and then we have to take a break.
Can you guys react to liquid breathing diving?
No, we cannot. That's not a thing. We're not doing that.
Well, I may. I don't. He can speak for himself. I will tell you that I think it's coming more and more. I guess eventually they will be able to. Maybe that's all we'll dive. And I like the fact that I like to hear about things that are coming in the future. But right now, I don't know if it's a regular thing.
Whereabouts in Canada have you been, Gus? I've been, in a lot of places. Toronto many times, and obviously, the Niagara Falls in that area or whatever. I've been to Edmonton. I've been to Vancouver. And my favorite place in all of Canada and almost all of North America, to be honest, is Victoria.
Hey,
Victoria, British Columbia is awesome.
Bayron, what's more stressful to dive with? Sharks? Eliminate sharks. They should not be with the word stress. Sharks, I want to dive with them on every dive if I could. But crocs or alligators, I already said, would be crocs. Sharks, there is no stress. They're amazing. Update on the jet skis. Stay tuned. That's all I'll tell you about that.
Don't tell anybody that.
If you like boom, I mean,
that's
what diving is on my bucket list. What diving is on our bucket list?
Yeah, I always keep saying the Britannic, and that's just because that's been on my bucket list since forever.
Okay, I don't know. I don't know.
The Britannic for me. All right, one more question, and then we will thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll drop off. So somebody, please ask a really good question to finish. Let's see. Good question. Nobody has a question. Okay, let's just answer this one from Bayram. Do you think certain tech can help diver-animal interactions like rebreathers? Yes.
Yes.
Rebreathers definitely help with animal interactions underwater. It's awesome not to blow bubbles. Fish will get really, really close. I actually had to stop wearing a mask that I really like because of the rebreather. I used to have a Scuba Pro mask that was like reflective. It was like orange, but it was like a mirror. You couldn't see my eyes. So fish will like park in front of my face and like start getting like, oh, dude, what are you looking at? What are you like seeing their reflection because they're dumb? And I
don't think they're dumb.
They're looking at theirs. What's up? And like they're starting to pick fights. So instead of having my face attacked by multiple fish, I had to stop wearing that mask.
Hey, thank you everybody
for
this really cool live stream, and thank you all for the support. It really helps us a lot with the super chats.
Yes.
You guys were really generous, and we have some really cool videos coming out. I'm really excited about them. So we're marching our way towards 100,000, and we appreciate you helping us get there. Thank you for that. That's something that I am actually blown away that we are. Looks like we're gonna hit. Could be in the next few months, man. What? It could happen.
It's crazy.
Thank you.
Thank you. And for those of you who will tune in to Orca Torch, I guess we'll see you there. Some people saying they're gonna be there. So
great.
Yes, we'll see you there in 28 minutes.
Bye, everybody.